Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing That Night in the Library, written by Eva Jurczyk. I don't know if I pronounced the surname correctly, but I tried my best, so apologies if it's wrong. But this is a horror. I like this. It's got great atmosphere, it's got great tension, it has a great setting and wonderful characters. It's also quite fun if a horror can be fun, and that fun feeling comes through the characters, just their reactions, who they are as characters as well in the book. It feels like a lot of fun with those over-the-top moments, and I don't mean over-the-top in a bad way, I mean in a good way. This is very tense. When things get going, they really get going, they don't stop. So it's fast-paced, has a great build-up. I like this. I like everything about it. Most of this book takes place in the basement of the William E. Woodend Rare Book Library. And when I say basement, I mean it. It's where they store rare books, where they work on books as well, but it is truly the basement. We have no windows in this basement either, I don't think. We have no way to get out once you're in that basement. It's a true basement and it's quite chilling in atmosphere. And when those characters get there, that moment when all the lights go out, it's not a spoiler, it just happens in the story. All the lights go out and then that's when the real tension and horror feeling in the book starts. And it doesn't stop. It keeps going at a quick pace. Doesn't let go. It's quite tense. It's quite chilling. The characters drive that a lot at those moments. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But first, in this book, we have a build-up where we get to know the characters, and I liked how that happened. We have 7 main characters. One character, Davy, he's responsible for organising this event. And the event is he wants 6 other people to help him perform an ancient Greek ritual. And this ritual is meant to release their fears or something, make them unafraid, make them courageous. And they're going out into the real world, some of them are anyway, some are graduating, and they don't want to be afraid of their future. So this ritual is meant to help them. And so these people, they're not all friends, they all agree to help out, and they're all quite different in the book as well. And I like their characters, I like that they're unique as characters, I like that we get to know them quite deeply before the big event happens. We get to know what makes them tick, basically. We get to know what they think about this ritual idea, what they think of other people as well. And I quite like just getting to know them, because when things happen in this book, when it gets fast-paced, it's a bit chaotic, not in a bad way, in a good way. It's very fast-paced, a lot of things moving in different directions. It's good to know we have a basis for these characters. We understand them already. We get to know more about them when things happen though, when that big event happens and it turns into horror and they're in that basement alone. We get to know more about them, but that basis of who those characters are is important, I think, in books like this. Because when books become fast-paced, when there's action, when there's movement, it leaves little room for character growth, I think, deep dive into character growth. So it's good to know we have that early on. It's hard to describe this book in any great detail because when the lights go out, that's it. There's twists, there's turns, it's fast-paced. That's when the horror starts. That's when it's tense and gripping. It's when it's also fun, and I use fun in a different sense, I think, than what we usually use fun. I use fun because when characters react to things, when characters overreact to things as well in this story, it has a sense of, it has a fun sense to it. It's not a darkness all the time in the story. It's one of those horror books, one of those horror stories where it's not all doom and gloom and darkness and just evil things happening all the time. There is some sense of fun in there as well, almost dark comedy in a way, and that dragged me into the story. It felt real because their reactions, it's all based on character reactions, that kind of dark comedy fun feel. It's how they react to a sudden event occurring in the basement, something horrific, and not all people react in the same way. Some characters freeze, some characters try to make up reasons why, they try to justify why things happened. Some characters try to joke their way out of their own feelings, and that's where that sort of sense of fun comes into it, because it's all about character reactions. What is each character going to do when faced in certain moments? Will they band together and help each other? Will they fall apart? Will they fracture and point fingers at each other? And in this book, suspicions are thrown left, right, and centre. It seems every character just wants to be there out for themselves. They don't want to join in some collective and try to solve a problem. It's interesting how these moments in the basement bring about different angles, different explorations in the psychology of stress, I think, in this book. And that's what I think one of the main things in this book is. These characters are in a stressful situation, very stressful, and they react in different ways. Sometimes predictable, sometimes unpredictable. Sometimes you may think it's a bit crazy what they're doing. Sometimes it makes perfect sense, especially those characters explain what they're thinking, what they're doing. And I like in this book how we have viewpoints from different characters. A few main characters give their viewpoints, and I think they're very genuine. They feel real. And in their viewpoints, we have doubt, we have confidence, we have a mixture of things going on in their heads, and that makes this all the more real, I think. It centers the reader into those moments, and that weaving together of so many things, so many fast events, so many fast reactions from characters, it's quite skillful, I think, to do that, especially in a shortish book, because you're blending everything together while trying to keep the bare bones of detail there to make everything feel real. But you're also trying to make us feel like we're immersed in everything that's happening. And that balance is quite hard, I think, in a book like this. Davy in this book feels like our main protagonist. And Davy is the character that's organising this ancient Greek ritual. And Davy's interesting as a character. He's quite arrogant, obnoxious. He thinks he's perfect and wonderful. He thinks he's got it made. There's a job going at the library. And that's one of the threads in this story, this idea of a job going, and all the people who are working at the library are going for that job. They're being told to by the person who manages the library. And Davy thinks that job is his. He thinks he's the best. And that just goes through his mind all the time, through his character all the time in this book. And other characters think differently of him. That's interesting as well. He doesn't even realize what other people think of him, and it seems he doesn't care either in the book. He's an interesting character, and he stands out in this book because of just that kind of one-track mind he has about how good he is at everything. Faye is a character that this book focuses on quite a lot. We get a lot of her point of view chapters in this book, and I like her point of view. So as a character, she's not confident. She's quite uncertain of herself almost all the time. That shines through her voice in the story about how she sees things and reacts to things and reacts to other characters in the basement. But I like her voice. I like her uncertainty. It makes her feel real. I like the way sometimes she does take charge. She does make quick decisions and she thinks they're right all the time. And sometimes she may get things wrong, but she's a character that is self-aware. She understands when she gets things wrong and she understands the consequences of those actions. So as a character, she feels very complete. She feels real. In a way, she feels a little bit more real than Davy because Davy has that one-track mind. But also with that one-track mind Davy has, I'm sure we've all come across people like that. So maybe as characters, they both feel real in the story to different degrees maybe. But Faye is a character I think just stands out brilliantly in this story. Just a wonderful character. Kip is a character I want to mention because as a character, he's a bit of a cliche, but he's used so well. He's written to perfection, I think, in this story. And because of the way he's written, he feels like a real character, a real person. And I can imagine someone like Kip at any university or college. I can just picture it. So in my view, Kip is stunning in this book. He stands out a lot. He's a great example of an author taking a cliche and making the best of it. And also making it feel like it belongs so easily and so effortlessly in this story. I like this book a lot. It's a great horror story. The author just built it up so well, got to a moment where all the lights go out in the basement and then kind of went for broke basically. Went everywhere with the story. Nothing was sacred in this book. The plot could go anywhere. And when it went in different directions, it was done so well, especially in a small space with so many characters, because you had this isolated small space with 7 characters at the start of this story. It's hard to do, I think, to have character movement feel so real in that space in the darkness. But the author does it so well, and I rate this a 4 out of 5. A lot to like in this book. I hope this book gets a wide audience, and in my view, this book would make a great movie. I could picture this as a movie. and if it ever became a movie, I'm sure I'd watch it. On my channel, I review many horror books. If you enjoy horror, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to another video for a book I'm sure you'll enjoy.